This is big breaking emergency news. We are seeing a nationwide blackout of critical services in every state right now. Federal services are now offline. We are also getting a emergency warning from the FBI, and they are sending out letters to people warning them that our airline industry is being sabotaged right now, that there are crimes involved with all the chaos going on in our airline industry, and there's potential sabotage happening. So this is big for our country. We are seeing attack after attack, and let's dive into this news here really quick, guys. Hit it up for me down there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple times a day, keeping you guys updated on this big news. All right, but you can see here, this is what's happening right now. We're having nationwide outages of our critical systems, and we're also having the FBI issue an emergency warning about our airlines and that they're not safe and they're being sabotaged. But you can see here, let's get into this nationwide outage first. This is what's happening. We have a nationwide DMV outage. All right, so people that were at the DMV, they were not able to process their licenses and their permit services today. This was happening. There were massive delays being reported in every state. They are saying that this was a shared cloud service system that went down. All right, you can see here, it says that DMVs across the U.S. experienced a network outage early Thursday, temporarily impacting various services like driver's license renewal and permit test. It says the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, which provides cloud software to DMV offices, told Fox Business that the network experienced an outage from approximately 9:50 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Right? So something is going on. We keep having these outages of our critical systems, and it seems like they are doing dry runs. Remember, they just warned from the White House a couple days ago, I broke that they are worried there's going to be a major attack on our water systems and our water supply. All right, so, and today we see outages of the DMV. This is all it takes. It only takes one thing to be compromised for there to be chaos. All right, they're doing dry runs, and they also now potentially have identity information as well. Think of all the information you have to give to get an ID. All that information could potentially be compromised and used to access other systems as well. All right, let's dive into this other news here. You can see here that the FBI is issuing this warning and has sent out letters to people warning them that they may be a victim of a crime and there could be sabotage going on inside of our airline systems. You can see here it says, FBI tells passengers on Alaska Airlines flight they may be, quote, victim of a crime. It says lawyer representing Alaska Airlines passengers said DOJ investigation brings, quote, leverage to their litigation. It says here the FBI sent passengers who had been on an Alaska Airlines flight that had a door plug blowout mid-flight a letter saying that they may, quote, possibly be a victim of a crime. All right, it says, as a victim specialist with the Seattle division, I'm contacting you because we have identified you as a possible victim of a crime, the FBI office in Seattle said in a letter to passengers on the Alaska flight 1282. All right, that was the one where the door blew off mid-flight. You remember that a couple months ago? Insane. That was kind of there were a few things going on before that, but that was the big one where people really realized what is going on with our airline industry, and especially Boeing. What is happening, right? And it also says, quote, a criminal investigation can be a lengthy undertaking, and for several reasons we cannot tell you about its progress at this time. And says the FBI did inform passengers about the type of services they are entitled to as part of the victim assistance program. So something is going on, right? And they're saying they're not giving much information, but they're saying there was a crime. There's a federal investigation. Seems like there's sabotage of our airline industry, and Boeing is a military contractor. That's the one thing that never gets brought up in this conversation, is that Boeing creates all these different critical planes for our military, right? Dozens and dozens of planes for decades now have been produced by Boeing, and they are potentially compromised as well, right? Their standards are not up to par, and now potentially there are people inside the company that are sabotaging. That's what this is indicating. Doesn't really make sense that it would be anything else except that somebody was intentionally trying to cause a plane blowout. Why would they criminally be investigating this? Have the FBI involved? They are taking this to the highest level. It seems like there was somebody in the company potentially, or allegedly. We don't know for sure, but this is what it indicates. And they were planning this. They wanted this to blow out, so potentially there was a catastrophic event, right? We're extremely lucky that there was nobody sitting there that got sucked out of the plane or anything like that, or that people passed out or passed away from lack of oxygen, anything. Or there's other compromises on the plane because of this, or they sabotaged other parts too. This is very sketchy, very dangerous, that we now cannot even trust the people that are producing and maintaining these planes. All right, so get prepared now and think about it. These are flying above our heads all day long, flying above our heads. This could be used for anything. We've seen what it's been used for in the past and how they changed our country. Everything changed after that. Everything changed after 2001, right? And it seems like we're being set up again, potentially for another event. There's all this stuff going on. There's also thousands of people a day that are coming in unvetted and are allowed to get on flights and planes with unvetted identities. And that's a major security risk as well. We're lucky nothing has come of that. And there's sabotage going on all around the country. All right, the doors have been let wide open, and they are intentionally sabotaging the country from the inside out. All right, losing Boeing like this is critical. The stock is plummeting. All right, the company, the brand is essentially ruined right now. This is a major loss for our country. We do not want to lose our industries that take decades to build. And this technology has been funded by us flying on these planes, been funded by taxpayers, everything. And it's all just going to be thrown away because there's sabotage, internal sabotage, and the standards have been allowed to be lowered. And there's also a competency crisis as well with people that are building a lot of these planes. They're unqualified to build it, and they're unqualified to operate as well and maintain a lot of these planes and these systems. This is happening right now. I showed a interview a couple weeks ago when this Boeing whistleblower mysteriously offed himself, right? You remember that. I made a video on that. Everyone heard about that. How this whistleblower, and his family and his friends are saying that he did not do that, and he wouldn't have done that, and he wanted to make his case and make his voice heard and tell everyone what's going on, right? So, and he said his friends and family said they were texting him and talking to him the night before the morning this happened, right? So very sketchy, very fishy what's going on there. All right, but I showed a video in that video as well where they were interviewing Boeing employees and asking them if they would fly on their own planes. And it was 10 out of 15 people that they asked and interviewed and said, hey, would you fly on one of these planes, a Boeing plane? 10 out of 15 said no. 10 out of 15 said they would not fly on the own planes that they are developing. So what does that tell you? they wouldn't even fly in their own plane, so they don't care. They don't care. The standards are also extremely low as well. All right, and I believe that video was a couple years old too. And so this has been going on for years and years, this crisis inside of our critical companies. All right, this is like a critical infrastructure, our planes. And the Boeing brand has been completely destroyed and tainted. So do not fly on any of these planes right now. They are warning that something is going on. They know something's going on. There's some kind of sabotage. There should be disclosure. They should tell everyone what's happening so everyone can know. Shouldn't people be allowed to know? Especially the people that were on the plane, everyone should be allowed to know what's going on, right? Because this compromises our safety. Everyone's safety is compromised now if you're flying on a plane. I would not be flying on these planes right now, and especially if it's a Boeing plane. Sorry to say that. I don't want to say that. This is an American company, but this is the reality of the situation right now. Do not fly on these planes right now. They are pretty much admitting and alluding to that there is sabotage going on internally at Boeing, bare minimum. And that's just one company. This is probably happening at every single company in America is being sabotaged internally from the inside out. That's why nothing can change. That's why nothing gets done, because we're all on the same ship. It's the same ship, but the ship has been mutinied. It's been compromised. It's been taken over by a different crew that wants to crash the ship and take it out in the middle of the ocean and sink it. All right, that's what's happening right now. We're still on the same ship, but the crew has taken over. A different crew has taken over. Our institutions, our companies, everything. It's all been overrun, and it's very dangerous, and it's been allowed to happen. So make sure you guys are getting prepared, getting ready. They're warning the water systems are going to be hit. They're warning that the DMV is going down. All these systems are going down. Remember the AT&T outage. All these different things are happening. They're getting ready for the big one. They're doing dry runs, and they're doing tests to see which backdoors and which switches are still active. All right, they built in backdoors into a lot of these things. They've installed backdoors through apps, things like this. Certain apps, certain programs on your phone have backdoors. It's pre-installed, a lot of backdoors. And a lot of this technology has even been banned. The government admits this. Things like Huawei has been banned, and then US companies have it as well. And they've been testing these backdoors and doing dry runs to make sure that they still work. And that's why we've been seeing all these things go offline randomly. Just for a little bit, just go offline, just making sure that the switch is still working so they can flip them all when they need to. So get your gas tanks filled, get your water tanks filled, get your prepper pantry filled up. All right, cans, beans, water tanks, all that stuff. I had a power outage just a couple nights ago when I was getting these videos out to you guys. I had a power outage in the middle of it. Had to bust out the generator. All right, so it can happen at any time. Anytime, you got to be prepared. And every time it happens, it's always in the back of my head that this could be the big one. This might be the big one. This might be the one they've been warning about. It might not come back on. This time it might not come back on. All right? And that's what we need to be prepared for. At least for things to potentially go offline for weeks, maybe months. That's what they're preparing for at a government level, and that's what they are warning of at a government level. They're sending out letters to the governors, the White Houses, warning that water systems could go offline. What would you do if you didn't have any water for weeks? Very serious. It gets very serious when you start thinking about that. You can't do anything. You can't even wash your hands. You can't shower. And the water you have, you're going to have to use it to eat and to clean pots and pans, things like that. You're going to have to use it for bare essentials. All right, so get prepared now. Please hit it up for me down there. I appreciate that. Hope you have big blessings for your life, your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.